right. Sorry, I misspoke. It's actually by Alexandra Blakely. And for anyone who's following along on the lyric sheet, there's 2 sections that each start with "Last Night I Dreamed," and we're going to start with the first section and just repeat that until the end when we sing the last section. Yeah, I think we need to gather in a little closer.
Gather in a little bit.
Closer, okay. Last night I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers stepped in between the bond and the family. They said, don't wait for your leaders to say, all life is precious. It'll have to be us. 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 Last night I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers stepped in between the mom and the family. They said, don't wait for your leaders to say, all life is precious. It'll have to be us. 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 Last night I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers stepped in between the bond and the family. They said, don't wait for your leaders to say, all life is precious. It'll have to be us. 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 Last night I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers stood in their grief and stopped the machine.
Okay, we've got another song for you. This one's called Don't Numb It Out. It's about staying connected to our hearts, and it's by Abigail Bangstrom.
Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let it all flow in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Stay soft to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself breathe in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself breathe in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let it all flow in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Stay soft to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself breathe in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself breathe in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let it all flow in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Stay soft to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself breathe in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. Don't numb to this, don't numb it out. Let yourself flow in and out. You're strong enough to feel it all and keep your heart alive. And keep your heart alive. And keep your heart alive.
All right, so I'll start off with some ones that everybody knows. It's been a year's worth of protesting. We all know these. So the first one is Free, Free Palestine!
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 The next one is Biba, Biba, Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
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 From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
All right, then I'm going to read another one out. I want you to repeat after me. From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime.
From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime.
All right, here's a new twist on it. From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
This displacement is a crime.
This displacement is a crime.
From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
This displacement is a crime.
This displacement is a crime.
From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
This displacement is a crime.
This displacement is a crime.
From Eugene to Palestine.
From Eugene to Palestine.
This displacement is a crime.
This displacement is a crime.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and go to our next speaker.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks to the Ceasefire Choir.
Yeah.
Again, give it up for the Ceasefire Choir. And welcome to all of you, and thanks for being here. Thanks to the local co-organizers of the event. I just want to name them out so we get that out of the way. Planet versus Pentagon. Local chapters of the Pacific Green Party. Party for Socialism and Liberation. And Extinction Rebellion. And with the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition. 1 year of genocide, 1 year of resistance. This theme is a response to a call by the Palestinian Youth Movement for an International Day of Action, today, October 5th. This weekend, you're joining tens, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, in at least 60 cities worldwide, who are standing up together to demand an end to U.S. aid to Israel, a complete arms embargo immediately, an end to the U.S.-Israeli genocide in Gaza and across Palestine, no war in Syria, no war in Lebanon, no war in Iran, no war anywhere. Only the class war. Sorry. 1 year of genocide, 1 year of resistance. We have 6 speakers, or maybe 5. We'll see. But I want to talk a little bit about that framing. So I want to quote from the call for this day of action from the Palestinian youth movement. Quote, "We call for October 5th as a global day of action for Palestine to mark this year as one where our people stood tall against Zionism as they have for nearly 100 years. Quote, in the span of 1 year, the Gaza Health Ministry has released the names of over 40,000 martyrs, with updated projections estimating over 189,000 martyrs. Quote, the struggle continues. On October 5th, we'll make clear that from wherever we are, that our movement's going nowhere until full liberation and return are ours. Yes! We will not stop, we will not rest until every inch of Palestine is free.
Yes!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Long live Palestine!
Long live Palestine!
So we're here to mark 1 year of this style of genocide in Gaza, but this didn't really start on October 7th, as you all know. It's been genocide for 100 years, since the British claims on Palestine for the Zionists, and for 76 years since the beginning of the Nakba. We're here to mourn for the martyrs, the children, the women, the men. We're here to mourn for the innocent and the peaceful, those who resist genocide with only their survival. We're here to mourn for the guilty, those who resist genocide by fighting back. Quote, until every inch of Palestine is free. And finally, we're here to commit, for us to commit together with one another, to renew our vows, if you will, and our commitment to a free Palestine. We mark 1 year of resistance in Gaza, but for over 100 years, Palestinians have never given up, and neither will we.
Yes!
So with that, I want to lead into Molly, who's going to play some messages from Gaza that are just for us, I think. And then we'll start with our first speaker.
Actually, I just want to clarify. The first comment is from my friend Iman in Gaza, and then the following three are from friends in the occupied West Bank. And they've given these comments specifically for this moment, for all of you here.
Dear people of Eugene, the U.S. government supplies Israeli with weapons to kill innocents and instill war and fear. It would be kind if you supply us with hope, security, and safe, and instill happiness by sharing our stories, showing advocation to Palestine and Gazan people. Peaceful days, I hope, for every one of you.
Hello, this is Shachar Efredi from Bethlehem, Palestine. I'm here to say nothing bad about us human beings living our lives. Enjoy, party, teach and learn, go on walks, feed our dogs, the way you want it to be, as long as we are not hurting other people. Yet, if I were you in America now, I want someone to tell me that tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed since last October 2023. More than 100,000 have been injured. People are, especially in Gaza, losing hope, losing love, leaving the minimum requirements for life. And I want someone also to tell me that one of the reasons why this is happening is because of the unconditional support of the United States of America to this Zionist occupation. I also want someone to tell me that I am responsible as an American as long as I don't do enough effort to learn more about the truth, and I am responsible as long as I continue to pay taxes for this regime that is supporting the Israeli military.
From Palestine, I'd love to tell all people around the world, We have to unite in order to stop genocide in Gaza. It's a war between Israel, Zionist, and humanity. A human should be strong in order to defeat evil, hunger, poverty, killing. Zionist Israel spread evil, and we have to unite in order to stop evil in the world.
Hello everybody, Salamu alaikum, which means peace upon everyone. We are all humans, and we would like all of us to live in peace and have a kind of safety in our lives. I live in the West Bank, in the occupied territories. I'm from a village which is also always attacked by the occupiers' defense forces. I would like to thank everyone and each of you who's trying to do something to bring justice and trying to stop this genocide going on in Gaza. Although in the West Bank, there is another kind of genocide, especially in Jenin and Tulkarem, but I cannot imagine people from Gaza are living. They themselves are transmitting a genocide, so all over the world it's known what's going on there. I think that most of the people in the world, not the governments, are trying to do the right thing. So thank you again, and all the people that are doing something. I wish you peace, health, and happiness, and thank you again.
On their behalf, thank all of you.
Thank you. And with that, I want to bring up our first speaker. Please welcome Dr. Ala Harmid. Dr. Harmid is a local counselor and a Palestinian American from Bethlehem in the West Bank.
Hi. I'm not professional with talk, but I believe what is come from heart is will go to heart. And my story started when I came in this life, 1986. Now you know my age. And my mom delivered me in a Gulf country, one of the Gulf country. I don't want to name it, as someone who hasn't any nationality except my dad is American. In 1986, there is no anything related to Palestine. The passport wasn't there, the ID is not there. When you start, you want to visit your family in West Bank, and you are a baby. The only thing come to support me that my dad is American. I did my American birth certificate in the sympathy. Oh my God! In Saudi Arabia now, you know which country I born in, and that's the way I could visit my family. Can you imagine that I have a privilege to be American, and the other people, they can't even go there, they can't visit their family. In 1988, the first Intifada, I think my family, they stayed in Saudi Arabia until in 1989, and they went back to Palestine. 1988 started the first Intifada. I was 2 years old, that's all. And from 1988 until mid of 90, the effect of Intifada, when I remember the big mask in face and how we are feeling every time we are going outside the house, there is gas and the smell of the gas everywhere. And I was little, and I remember all this. Growing up with, like, I can't go anywhere. My sister, born in 1989, my mom couldn't deliver her in hospital. She needed someone to come home, and it was locked. No one can move in anywhere. No one can ask for help. There is no emergency, nothing. You should be locked in your house. And until that time, every year we had a lot of problems, a lot of occupation. Tanks has become like a normal vehicle. When you are walking around and seeing the tank, has become like normal to look. Oh, there's a tank near to my house. You are talking about until a little bit 1997. It's become like less stressed, less tense. And we thought we will live normally, having fun. Bethlehem is very nice tourism city. 2000 started the second intifada. And second intifada is hard, very hard. I was 13 years old, 2000. And we were excited for the new 2000. Okay, that's so nice. We had a lot of things we can do in 2000, yeah. Okay. And from that time, we have lockdown in Bethlehem. And my mom and my grandma, she was holding my hand to go to buy some grocery from the back of the shop. That's nice. When you see this, you grow up with this all, and you grow up more and more until finish high school, 2004 to 2005. And you want to start your university time. And I choose university a little bit, have 30 minutes driving, but you will, until you go to that university, you need forever to go. How many times they stopped me and put a gun in my head because I want to go to my class? How many times we were stopped for many, many hours to only I can't catch first class or second class? How many times I wish to pray in the mosque because I have the ID. I don't have any privilege as American even. I'm not allowed, by the way, to go to Jerusalem because I have the ID. And I can't neglect my ID. And also as American, I can't be normal American tourist, visit there. There is no, I don't know where I belong. I wish I belonged to here because this is the place I love. And my family grew up here before me. But on the other hand, still, it's a challengeable. In the day when I was in a university, I'm doing my bachelor in social work. I had a lot to challenge to do 4 years without dying in the checkpoints. Another 2 years in master, also same. I've never been in a stable life without having bombing, someone bugging you when you are going to school. I don't know how we have degrees because unfortunately we had to skip some classes. I'm grateful for the experience. My mom, 2007, she was 46 years. And she has they diagnosed her with ALS. And ALS, one of the reasons that it's caused by the tear gas, I don't know what we call, the Israeli people throw it on us. And a lot of research, they say it's a very direct relationship for gas and what war doing with ALS. And she survived until now. She's more than 16 years with her ALS. But I was 21 with her, without being with my mom. And this is one of many stories, a little bit. I have a privilege to be American, but another, you can manage your imagination to think how the other people survive in there. I have a fortune to be American, what the other people, with the fear, being way mature more than your age. You don't know where there's any park to play. and you can't move easily from state to state, city to city. And now, this is the genocide. I am now 38 years. All these years, I never saw in my life genocide like this. Like, it's a savage. From 2010, 14, all this year 18, until now, we had every year there. But this is the worst, and the worst of all, because they are in big jail, and they are torturing the prisoner in the jail. There are some of people I know, they were healthy. They are lost half of their weight in 6 months. Can you imagine? I don't want to, I'm sorry for not being very organized with my talk, but I know you can see someone who's came from that trauma and try to survive in other country. It's my country here, but a lot of trauma coming, and I will stand for Palestine, not because I'm Palestinian, because they are a human, and thank you.
Israel, Israel, you can't hide. You're committing genocide. 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 From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Thank you, Dr. Harmid. Next, please welcome Sam Cooke, an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
How's this? Is it good sound? Great. Hello, fellow Eugenians, friends, and comrades. My name is Sam Cooke, and I am an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And I want to thank all of you for coming today. We are here in solidarity with the Palestinian youth movement, which is called today to be an International Day of Action against the horror we have all witnessed in Gaza. It has been almost a year since the occupation forces began this new merciless attack against the people of Palestine. However, it is important to note that this conflict did not begin on October 7th, 2023. It really began in 1949 and even earlier with the seizure and occupation of Palestinian land by Zionist colonists. Al-Nakba was the founding crime of the State of Israel and has defined the Israeli settler colonial project from the beginning. Israel aggressively expanded its borders, illegally occupying the majority of Palestinian land and imposing a brutal system of ethnic supremacy and apartheid. This system continues to this day, with Israel legally claiming itself to be a Jewish nation state. This legal system and the brutal onslaught being carried out to defend it is backed fully by the weight of the U.S. empire. American imperialism sees Israel as an extension of itself, an outpost in a resource-rich part of the world with a history of resisting Western domination. Joe Biden himself in the halls of Congress said that if Israel did not exist, we would have to invent an Israel to defend our interests in the region. Our government continues to send billions of dollars in weapons and support, even as Israel drags the world closer to World War III. Israel has shredded the so-called rules-based international order, completely violating every precedent in international law, including bombing embassies and assassinating political figures within the resistance. Israel operates the same way as every other fascist project in history, painting their enemy simultaneously as weak and subhuman, but also omnipotent and encroaching, presenting themselves as the victim while they carry out genocidal violence. But like all fascist projects in history, Israel will fail. South African apartheid also lashed out at its neighbors as that wretched system began to collapse. The apartheid state invaded Angola, Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, and Mozambique, as well as others. The Israelis, who had close ties with the apartheid regime, have copied this aggression. Israel bombed 3 of its neighbors in a single day and continued to present itself as the victim. Those colonists in South Africa believed themselves to be untouchable until they were defeated by an African army. And like South Africa, Israel can be defeated. American imperialism can be defeated. It is up to us within the imperial core to work to do our part to defeat it, to organize in our communities against the same forces which oppress us here and working class people across the globe. It is up to us to work towards a world premised on peace, cooperation, and self-determination, rather than domination, exploitation, and imperialism. I thank you all again for coming today, because together another world is possible. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Uh-oh, fasten your seatbelt.
All right, the next chant, I don't even have to get out to get ready. I already know it. It's a new one. You might not have heard it before, so just repeat after me. Trump, Harris, you can't hide. You both support genocide.
Trump, Harris, you can't hide. You both support genocide.
Trump, Harris, you can't hide. You both support genocide. Trump, Harris, you can't hide. You both support genocide. Hey, Israel, what do you say? How many kids did you bomb today? Hey, Israel, what do you say? How many kids did you bomb today? Hey, Israel, what do you say? How many kids did you bomb today?
Hey, U.S., what do you say?
How many kids did you bomb today?
Hey, U.S., what do you say?
How many kids did you bomb today? And here's another one that you've probably heard. And our thousands and our millions, we are all Palestinians. And our thousands and our millions, we are all Palestinians. Thank you. We'll go to our next speaker.
Thank you. Next up we have Justin Filip. Justin's a secretary of the Pacific Green Party, co-chair of the Eugene chapter of the Pacific Green Party, and one of the founding members of the UO Faculty and Staff for Justice in Palestine.
Dude.
Justin?
Dude.
Thanks, Rob. Good afternoon. It's really nice to see you all here today. Welcome back to some of the students. Nice to see you students here again. Yeah. So, what is legal is not necessarily moral. And what is moral is not necessarily legal. We know this from our own history as a country. We could point at countless examples, right? We've got, at one point slavery was legal. At one point it was illegal for women to vote. You could probably think of countless examples yourselves. Legality obviously does not equal morality, but nevertheless, our leaders try to talk about the rule of law, but they apply it very selectively. I'll spare you a thorough review of international and U.S. law, but I want to point out some glaring problems. The International Court of Justice ruled in July that Israel's continued presence in the occupied Palestinian territory is unlawful and that Israel must end it as soon as possible. The ICJ also ordered Israel to dismantle its settlements, provide reparations to Palestinian victims, and facilitate the return of a displaced people. Despite this, the U.S. support for Israel continued. The Lee Law is a U.S. law that prevents the U.S. government from providing military assistance to foreign security forces that are suspected of human rights violations. The U.S. law requires the government to cut off weapons shipments to countries that prevent the delivery of U.S.-backed humanitarian aid and USAID and the State Department acknowledged that Israel cut off aid to Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken ignored it. USAID had sent Blinken a detailed 17-page memo on Israel's conduct. This was in the news recently. You may have seen this, although we all knew it for a while. The memo described instances of Israeli interference with aid efforts, including killing aid workers, razing agricultural structures, bombing ambulances and hospitals, sitting on supply depots, and routinely turning away trucks full of food and medicine. However, the rule of law suddenly matters when it comes to prosecuting people who are trying to bring attention to the genocide and to the people who are trying to get us to abide by international law and our own law. Look no further than the A-15 here in Eugene, currently being prosecuted. The injustices they were trying to stop are far greater than disrupting a little traffic. Oregon State University cares more about their lawn. The University of Oregon cares more about chalk on their sidewalks. This is the hypocrisy that pervades through every level of leadership in our country. They want you to shut up and accept it. But here we are, right? Yeah. We're not going to shut up. We're not going to be bullied into silence. And we're not going to stop fighting until our institutions and leaders stop being complicit. U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights gave our representative Val Hoyle a D, a grade of D. I once taught classes. Last time I checked, that's not a very good grade. On this day of action, I want you to sign a petition to demand that our elected representative in Congress no longer be complicit. She has voted to send more than 50,000 tons of weapons to Israel since October. Local media rarely asks her about it. We've got a QR code right up here if you guys want to sign this later. By the way, I will be meeting with Val Hoyle next Friday in a candidate forum at the Wow Hall. You're all invited.
It's at noon.
It's at noon. That's right. Sorry. So, anyway, in a recent KLCC story, she was voted as saying the children of Palestinians in Gaza deserve to live in peace, safety, and prosperity, just the same as Israeli children. But as James Baldwin said, I cannot believe what you say because I see what you do. She wants us to believe she cares about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the West Bank, and now Lebanon, but we need to see a real commitment to changing course on support for Israel. Our tax dollars should not be funding our tax dollars should be funding community care, not killing. More war and weapons won't bring peace. In the face of growing violence, we demand that our representative commits to these three things. Publicly call for a permanent ceasefire in Lebanon and Gaza to prevent the further loss of life. 2, prohibit the transfer of more weapons and military assistance to Israel. And 3, restore funding for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency that provides life-saving aid to Palestinian refugees. This is what I would like you to join with me in demanding of our elected representative. From Congressional District 4, from here to Corvallis, to Roseburg, to Lincoln City, down to Coos Bay, and everywhere in between, we need to join together and say no more. No more will we allow our representatives and our government to send bombs in our name. Again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate the other speakers. Very touching. I'll just close with this. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Thank you very much.
disrupt, we protest. Boycott, sanction, and divest. We disrupt, we protest. Boycott, sanction, and divest. We disrupt, we protest. Boycott, sanction, and divest. We disrupt, we protest. Boycott, sanction, and divest.
All right, thanks so much to all the speakers so far. We're going to have a small artistic interlude as the Ceasefire Choir will join us once again to teach and lead us in a song. Thank you.
I invite anyone who feels comfortable to come up closer. Music and singing can be such a powerful tool in movement, especially when we can hear each other. Awesome. Okay, so this song is called Not Another Bomb, and it was written by our local Ceasefire Choir, and it inspired by Adrienne Marie Brown, who invited folks to improvise on the lyrics, Not Another Bomb. So the lyrics for this song are very simple. It's just no and not another bomb. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this song is inspired by Adrienne Marie Brown, who invited folks to improvise on the words not another bomb. So the lyrics for this song are no and not another bomb. So I'm going to sing through it once, and then we'll break it into sections, and y'all can repeat it back to me.
Okay.
I'm just going to catch the melody. No, no, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no, that's all it is. So we'll start with the first part. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. Good, repeat that. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. Great. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. Sweet. Is that feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it all together. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. Percussion, welcome. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. Start quiet. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another louder, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. Sing to the people who need to hear it. Not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. one more time. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, not another bomb, not another bomb, not another bomb. No, no. Yeah!
In case you had any other questions about why we might ask for not another bomb, we have a short piece about that.
That for us is that we will survive for a new day. We are still alive here in Gaza. At night they bombed a rocket and it was very near. We were asleep and the sound of the rocket coming down, dropping, that sound before it dropped. There is a sound before the rocket struck. This sound awoke us. You feel that the world passed quickly and at any moment you may lose your life.
Before we move on to our next speaker, we're going to have a short performance from the Raging Grannies.
Yeah!
We're going to do one song for us before we keep going.
So for those of you that haven't heard us before, we are the Raging Grannies, women of a certain age. We are not a choir, but we will be singing a few songs. We stand up for all forms of social justice, and today we're standing up for peace. For this first song, you might be able to follow along. Right here.
If you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. When we make peace,
We make peace
instead of war.
instead of war.
When we make
Peace instead of war.
Oh, how I want to be in that number.
When we make peace instead of war.
When we stand up.
When we stand up
for what is right.
for what is right.
When we stand
up for what is right.
Oh, how I want to be in that number.
When we stand up for what is right.
When all the world.
When all the world
has human rights.
has human rights.
When all
The world has human rights. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When all the world has human rights.
When justice rules.
When justice rules
Instead of fear.
instead of fear. When justice rules instead of fear. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When justice rules instead of fear.
When we make peace.
When we make peace
Instead of war.
instead of war.
When we
Make peace instead of war. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When we make peace instead of war.
We are mighty people everywhere, both far and wide. We must now all come together like a giant ocean tide. No more fighting on this one first planet where we all reside. We want to live in peace.
No more wars upon this planet. No more wars upon this space. We must learn to live together. One family, one human race. We don't want our children to be taught to fight and harm. We will work incessantly to cause all nations to disarm. War has never been the answer, so we're raising this alarm. We want to live in peace. No more wars upon this planet. No more wars upon this place. We must learn to live together. One family, one human race. Grannies know so well that love can always make amends. Love can change our enemies and make them into friends. Now's the time together and proclaim that war must end. We want to live in peace. Not necessarily sing together. No more wars upon this planet. No more wars upon this space. We must learn to live together. One family, one human race. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Once again for the Raging Grannies, please. Next up we have anti-Zionist organizer and poet, Shachar Efredi.
Yeah!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Shachar.
Welcome. This has been really moving and very touching for me, and probably for you too. I want to start with a poem by Ghassan Kanafani that I often read when I'm asked to speak. All your armies, all your fighters, all your tanks, and all your soldiers, against the boy, holding a stone, standing there, all alone. In his eyes, I see the sun. In his smile, I see the moon. And I wonder, I only wonder, who is weak and who is strong? Who is right and who is wrong? And I wish, I only wish that the truth has a tongue. Thank you. We have witnessed 1 year of genocide in Gaza, and it's been nothing short of absolute horror. We have witnessed it spread to the West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, in disbelief and shame. And we have witnessed suppression all over the world, and here, too, in sweet Eugene. The ethno-nationalist Zionists, with the complicity of the imperialist powers, have made the world the most unstable it's been since World War II. The epicenter of this instability is in Gaza, where the resistance is fierce, and nothing short of legendary. I was born within the Zionist entity. My family still lives there, and still I tell them, get the fuck out of Palestine. Take your bombs and your miserable white supremacy, your settler colonialism, and go back to Europe or wherever the fuck they'll accept you.
Yes, thank you.
I really do say that to my family. With the brutal, illegal assassinations of Hezbollah leader Nasrallah and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, the path to ceasefire or liberation seems impossible. The Zionists are good at terror, and all they know how to do is try to break the spirit of the resistance. Listen, I get it. The ills of Palestine seem insurmountable. Momentary despair is understandable, but surrender is not an option. Palestinians have been resisting Zionist dehumanization, ethnic cleansing, and genocide for 76 years and more. And so, if need be, the struggle for liberation will continue for another 76 years. So long as Israel bombs shelters, tortures and maims children, and so long as olive groves are desecrated and burned, there will be resistance. And so long as apartheid flourishes, so will resistance. Israel's fate is sealed. All they have left is brute force. And that is not nearly as powerful as truth. A truth that will one day see a free Palestine from the river to the sea. The road to liberation is bloody, and Zionists will try to suppress it by any means, but it's too late. They've crossed too many red lines, broken too many promises. Zionism has been exposed finally. My only wish is that I will live to see it smashed once and for all. Long live the global intifada. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine!
Yeah. Let's just keep that one going. That's a good one.
Free Palestine!
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 Free Palestine! Woo!
Yeah.
Light shines, we will be free.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming. We have one more speaker, and then the Raging Grannies will come on again. Our last speaker is Kamryn Stringfield.
Yeah.
Kamryn is a local activist and a member of the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition.
Yeah.
Here comes trouble.
I want to take it off. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Rob, for that introduction. And I want to thank Ala and Sam and Justin and Shachar and, am I missing anybody for speakers? The Ceasefire Choir, the Raging Grannies, and of course all of you that took time out of your day to come here and help us kick off what we have dubbed Intifada Week.
Yeah.
And when I'm done with my speech today, I'm going to let you know about all of the events that are coming up that you can go to stay plugged into the struggle for the defense of Palestine.
Yeah.
Usually I go ahead and just read a speech, and sometimes I do it off the cuff, but today I struck a neutral thing and I have an outline to help me go through what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what we've heard today is we started out hearing from a Palestinian, and then we heard about what's going on in the last year with the genocide in Palestine that has now spread to escalation in Lebanon and Syria and Yemen and with Iran, etc. We heard about the violations of international law by the Zionist state of Israel. We heard poems from Shachar about the current genocide, and now I want to bring it back to where we are standing here today in Eugene, Oregon. And I want to talk about this last year of activism here in Eugene, the current things that we are doing, and the importance, the absolute paramount importance of working in coalition with one another. I think we might take it for granted sometimes, but it's really vital, not just to the liberation of Palestine, but to the liberation of us all from imperialism, which is the ultimate problem in which we are facing. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the history, the last year of activism here in Eugene. Let's think back to 1 year ago today, October 5th, 2023. This is before the resistance forces of Palestine broke that damn wall and went past the green line into Israel. We're talking about a time before there were all of these Palestine protests happening in Eugene, before the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition, before all of us coming out to events like this. What did the Eugene activist scene look like before this? Now, when I say what I'm going to say about this, I don't mean any disrespect to the groups that were already here doing the tremendous work on housing and fossil fuel reduction and women's rights and black liberation and all of that. They were all doing wonderful work. But what I observed was that all of these forces, their struggles are interconnected by imperialism, but they weren't connected.
Bingo.
So you had all of these disparate struggles going on, and people weren't really sharing resources. I mean, you might have a friend that is active in another thing, so you go to an event with them, but there was never from what I saw, and I'm willing to be corrected if I'm wrong, there was never a concerted effort to bring together the progressive forces of Eugene for a common cause. So I want to talk to you about what happened after October 7th and how we got to now. The first protest that happened after October 7th was a protest on October 21st, 2023 that had over 300 people that attended it. It was a wonderful show of resistance to the genocide that was starting to unfold in Gaza as Israel forces started to go into Gaza and murder thousands of people. I think by the first week or two, it was like 11,000 people. That is insane. But we got out there on the streets and we marched in the streets against the genocide. I remember that there was a man that pulled up in a truck and acted like he was going to shoot some of us. I think he might have even fired some paintball rounds into the crowd, and there was like a little stampede about it. A friend of mine had broke their leg because of it. So it just goes to show you how chaotic it was when it first started. Everybody's passion was on fire at that point. But that wasn't the last protest, nor should it have been. I tried to connect with the organizers of that event at the end of it. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I never heard back. I don't know if it was gatekeeping. I don't know if it was security culture and they wanted to keep their organizing safe. There might be justified reasons for it. I'm not sure. But everybody that I had talked to wanted to see more happen. We knew we had to keep protesting, and we knew we couldn't wait a month or two for one or two groups to organize it themselves. People wanted action. So the first other protests that I saw that I started going to was the weekly ceasefire vigils that Planet versus Pentagon was putting out on here, right here at 7th and Pearl, every Wednesday for a whole year. That is incredible, the dedication that you showed. But I went to this event and I talked to them, and they were on a different political level than the people that had organized the other event, but they had a common cause, which was standing up for Palestine. And at that moment, I said, I want to get these forces connected with the other forces so that we can keep this going and build a movement on this. And I had to wait a little bit. It got to November, and one of the groups here had put on an educational, and a lot of us had went to that because it was the first event that they had put on since the October 21st protest. And it was a great educational on the history of the Palestinian armed resistance that goes back all the way to the Nakba and before. And at the end of that educational, it was like, well, let's sit around and wait. We've got to go to our board and organize another protest, and it might not be for a month. And we're all sitting there like, no, we need action now. We want to do something now. People are dying every day. We can't just sit around and wait a month. So we started to connect. We started to have meetings, little interpersonal meetings between one another, making connections, getting people from different groups connected. And then we met at World Pies and decided to form a coalition. We had an idea for a coalition on Palestine. But then, of course, we understood that the world is volatile. And the reason why what's happening in Palestine is happening is because of imperialism. And ultimately, what drives us together is our anti-imperialism. So we started to form the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition, SEEK.
Yeah, baby.
And that took a while. It took a while, and it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to bring together people from completely different ideologies and backgrounds and passions together in a room to decide how we were going to struggle together, how we were going to build this, what would it look like. So we got it started, and we, started drafting our mission statement and our points of unity and all of that. We started working together. We started trying to organize at least one big event a month that we could show people that we are going to keep resisting this genocide until it is over. I remember one of the first big events after the October 21st protest was a shut it down protest that we did. We started here at 7th and Pearl, and we went over there to the Nike store. Nike is complicit in the genocide, so we did a die-in there, and then we marched all the way across the Ferry Street Bridge, which has its own history of colonialism and racism, and went to Alton Baker Park and then to Autzen Stadium to protest with the students of U of O who were starting up their own campaign for divestment to get the University of Oregon, the largest institution in Eugene, maybe one of the largest institutions in Oregon, to stand against the genocide. And SJP U of O formed, and JVP U of O formed, and they all started their work. And we lined up right behind them and side by side to struggle with these students that were making history, that were repeating the same struggles that the students did to stop the genocidal war in Vietnam in the 60s and 70s, and to stop apartheid South Africa, and to stand up against the bloody wars in Iraq and Afghanistan following 9/11. So we go into the winter of 2023, going into 2024. We started going to the city council, asking for the most minimal thing they could do, something that didn't even have a material effect, which was call for a ceasefire. Call for a ceasefire. Say that you're against the genocide. It's not that damn hard.
That's right.
And it took us a bit. And we gave them a resolution. And they didn't pass that exact language. They passed a measly resolution that only called for ceasefire peace talks. But it did say ceasefire. And when the media spoke about it, in the Oregonian and other outlets across the state, they said Eugene was one of the cities to call for a ceasefire. And I take that as one of the victories that we had. And it laid the groundwork to say, okay, you oppose war and you're supportive of peace. Now put your money where your mouth is. And I'll talk more about that as I go on. But then as the new year started, as we went into the year that we're still in, it's about to end here soon, 2024, there were more global days of action. There were more protests ahead. I remember there was a global day of action that was supposed to happen, I think it was like January 13th. And we were going to have a rally in March. We thought it might look like this. If people can remember, there was a freak ice storm, which, thank you, climate change, another thing of imperialism. There was a freak ice storm. There was a layer of ice that was so thick, you would have thought it was snow, but it was just ice. And we still got out there, and we still had the rally, and we still spoke out against the genocide, even when most people were just trying to stay home to not get injured on the ice. That's right. And that was incredible at the time. It showed our dedication to this struggle. Then I remember, as we went into February, there was the Protest to Divest event, where SJP and the students did a march as part of their campaign for divestment. And unfortunately, it was probably the start of repression against our protesters here in Eugene. 2 people were arrested pretty brutally that day by the Eugene Police Department. The Eugene Police Department, of which all of the cops are bastards. The atrocious Eugene Police Department started to crack down on our protests, got one of our protesters pinned to the ground, and then arrested them. And luckily, our community pulled together the jail support resources to get them out and to stand against that repression. And as we went into spring, we started to do more things that weren't just protests, that weren't just marches and rallies. We started to do skill-based workshops and teach people how to be medics, how to de-escalate, how to, do media, all of these things. We started to have art builds. I remember there was an art build that happened at Westmoreland Park, where there's the big bridge that goes over 18th Avenue. And we dropped banners all over that bridge showing traffic all day long. And we were still out there. It might have been 2024. The media cycle might have moved on, but we didn't. We were still out there, and we were going to stay out there. And we all took that art that we had from that day and took it to other events. There was the March 15th rally and March for Gaza, where the coalition really showed. We brought together, I don't know how many, it was like 10, 15 organizations, from radical to liberal, from anarchist to Democrat, together to protest on the streets, to stand with the students, to show our community and our resistance, and to show, once again, that we weren't going to stop. Then, of course, as we get into April, we started the campaign for city divestment. And it wasn't very much language for them to accept either. It was really simple. We wanted a human rights-based investment policy. We wanted a citizens committee like Portland has. They already have it. They've had it since 2016 to review the city's divestments and to create a do not buy list for certain corporations. Portland even went further with that later on. They went ahead and expanded that to basically a do not buy list of sectors. We're not going to buy anything in arms and weapons. We're not going to buy anything in alcohol and tobacco. We're not going to invest in anything that harms people here or abroad. And that's what we were trying to bring to them. And constantly, they have stalled and hesitated and gave us every reason why they won't divest. They even told us recently, and I'll get into this later, that their money that was invested in corporations, it wasn't significant. It's only 1.7% of their portfolio. It's only millions of dollars. So you got millions of dollars. Raise your hand if you got millions of dollars. Good, we don't have any millionaires here today. But so we started that campaign for city divestment. But by April, we had done so many things. We had went to the city council. We had went to the board of trustees at the University of Oregon. We had done every kind of march and protest and die-in and sit-in and educational and every letter writing campaign that we could have done. And a lot of brave protesters took action on tax day on April 15th and joined in with an international call to action to block commerce. And I forget, was it like 50? How many protesters was it?
It was just about 60 protesters down there that got arrested that day.
60 protesters that stepped onto I-5 and faced mass arrests by the bastard law enforcement agencies here. And it was a huge event. It's still being covered because they're still being repressed. And I'll get to that later, but it was one of the biggest highlights of the year, I think, to me, to see all of those people get onto that highway and then be so brutally repressed by the police department. And the repression is another part of that struggle. It's another part of the struggle against imperialism. The police forces, the law enforcement forces that repress those protesters are merely protecting capitalist interests. They weren't doing it for people's safety. They were doing it for profit.
Right.
And then, of course, at the end of April, into May, we saw another one of the biggest highlights of this last year of activism, which was when the U of O students shocked the city by launching an encampment at the University of Oregon that lasted almost a month. And they sat out on the quad and every single day did all these kinds of workshops and meetings to connect people to every part of the struggle. And people might have their own opinions about how that encampment went. It just goes to show that there's going to be challenges when we work together with each other. But at the end of the day, they made history. They repeated once again the struggle against the Vietnam War when people launched their own liberation zones back in the 60s and 70s. And they constantly faced the fear of being swept by the Eugene Police Department or by the U of O Police Department. Right. And of course, when it ended, they got an agreement with the U of O administration, which people can have their opinions on, but it was something. And it's something for them to hold the U of O administration to. So as we went into the summer and the encampment ended and people went different places for the summer, but it's summertime. People needed a break. People go on vacation. People go out to the river. It's very hard for us. People can get burnt out. So you can understand why after months and months there might have been less action. But I remember in June, it was Pride Month. We had multiple Pride events in Eugene. Eugene Pride isn't in June. Don't ask me why. I'm not part of it. But we wanted to have Pride events to show the intersectionality of these issues, to show that the oppression of LGBT plus people, I'm one, hi, I'm a trans woman, I see it every day. The oppression of LGBT plus people is another part of imperialism. And that the pinkwashing that they use to defend Israel and to attack Palestinians is pure bullshit. Queer people live openly in Palestine. Queer people write from Palestine. Queer people give liberatory demands to the rest of the queer community from Palestine that we often ignore. So we went ahead and had protests in that month. I think there was a pinkwashing event, there was a Pride was a Riot event, there were these events to connect ourselves once again to that anti-imperialist struggle. And as July came on and August happened, there were less events. There were still different small protests happening. Of course, Planet versus Pentagon was still continuing those weekly vigils every week, keeping strong even when not much was happening. But of course, we went to Eugene Pride in August. We tabled there. Wasn't much, but honest work. And then we get to around now, the present moment, going into fall, looking at 1 year of this struggle. And I think the biggest things at present are the campaigns for divestment at the city of Eugene. I've been spearheading some of that. They're going to have their next city council meeting on August 7th, but you might be at the march and rally that's going to be happening for the Intifada protest. So it'll be the next city council meeting will be 2 weeks after that. And we're going to continue to pressure them to divest, to tell them that millions of dollars going to Amazon, which is on the pressure list for the BDS, and millions of dollars going to Apple, which has reportedly matched some of their salaries with money that goes to the IDF, to show them that that is not insignificant. If it's, quote, only 1.7%, then Mayor Venice, why are you stalling? Right. Why? Right. Why are you giving every reason in the world to not listen to your community and to not divest from genocide. It is disingenuous. We need to go ahead and go to the city council, even if it may seem useless, and to remind them that we are their constituents and we're going to pressure them as long as they stay complicit in the genocide. And they are complicit in the genocide. They're directly tied to the genocide. If a single fraction of a penny is going to Israel or to any sort of proxy that is helping in this genocide, then they are complicit in it. And they cannot deny that. They can't, it's not significant. No, it is significant. So there's that, and then of course, plug into Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace on the U of O campus to stay connected to their divestment struggle. I'm not exactly plugged in. I don't know what's going to happen. But that's why you should listen to the students on the student struggle. And also, at present, the A-15 defendants, the Eugene 19, continue to face repression. They continue to face charges from the DA. They continue to fear what may happen to them in the near future. And so I want you to, I think A-15 Eugene is another Instagram page you can plug into to keep updated with their trials and with their calls to action and with their calls to protest, and understand that the repression that could happen to them could happen to any one of us at any one of these events, because the police department is not predictable. The police department can crack down on any one of these protests because they are not really protecting your rights or your freedom of speech. So standing up for the Eugene 19, whatever you think of what they did on A-15, is the right thing to do. So as I've described the present and the things that are going to be going on, and of course follow the Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition. It's at anti.imperialist.coalition on Instagram. You're going to see all of the events that we're going to be doing here soon, and I'm going to list some of those at the end. But I want to talk a little bit about the importance of coalition. Why should we work in coalition together? Why is the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition important after 1 year? Well, first we can understand a couple of obvious things. A coalition is a meeting place for all willing progressives and leftists to work with each other, to share resources, skills, and knowledge, to build with each other. We've all learned different skills and tactics, not just in these struggles for Palestine, but we've learned it in the various struggles from before, the housing struggles, and the black struggles, and the LGBT struggles. We've all got these skills that we can pull together to help each other. The coalition itself can prevent any one force here from forming a monopoly on local activism. We're not looking for control. We're not looking for predominance. We're not looking for one ideological group or the other to say, we run things in Eugene. Why should you? Why should you? We should work together. It's better for us to work together and to not self-isolate, to not alienate each other, to not push each other away. We have strength in numbers. We have strength in camaraderie. We have strength and trust in one another. We are stronger together. Sectarianism divides and weakens us. It truly does. We're all passionate about our ideologies. We're all passionate about the organizations we're in, about our specific struggles. But at the end of the day, are you here to be right? Or are you here to win?
Right, that's it.
Are you here to say, well, we took control? Or are you here to say, hey, I may be 60 years old now, but when I was in my 20s, we helped contribute to the liberation of Palestine together. And that's the thing. Palestine needs us. We need to stay connected to the national and international mass movements in defense of Palestine. We need to understand that we have the privilege of pushing each other away. We have the privilege of disagreeing with each other. We have the privilege of hanging it up and saying, oh, it's too much for me. I can't handle it. It's too stressful. When I go to these meetings and somebody disagrees with me, I just want to hide my head in the dirt. Well, guess what? There's a lot of people whose heads are buried in the dirt and rubble of Palestine right now, and they don't have the luxury of pushing away people they disagree with. You look at what happened on October 7th. There was a coalition in Palestine that did that Liberation Act of Hamas and PFLP and DFLP and various other groups in Palestine that have different ideological perspectives, but they work together in unison for liberation. Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we work together for liberation? I think we can. I think that we have the ability to put aside our egos, to put aside our differences, to put aside our histories or whatever tensions that we have with each other, and continue to work together and compromise with each other and work towards our common goal, the end of imperialism. At the end of the day, we all value our children's future. At the end of the day, we all want a community where we have enough food and water and housing and health care to live comfortably and to thrive. These are the things that we're struggling for, and we should struggle for them together. We understand how our struggles are intersected. The homeless issue in Eugene is connected to the issue of Palestine. We see that all the time. We see how our government sends millions of dollars, billions of dollars to the Zionist Israeli regime instead of taking care of infrastructure and healthcare in this country. And we see how the city of Eugene sends millions of dollars to its damn police department for drones and community resource officers and all of this shit, instead of focusing it on actually affordable housing and infrastructure here in Eugene. They want to take away permits so the homeless people can't even eat. Meanwhile, I think every one of those city councilors has got a good dinner tonight. So we have had challenges together, and we will have challenges together, but we will get through them together, and we will rise above. We simply have to. We don't have a choice. We don't have time. There's other issues. There's climate change at play. The world is a volatile place right now. Palestine's the forefront issue, but it might not be tomorrow. Think about the war in Ukraine. Think about what's happening between China and Taiwan. Think about the escalations with Iran. Think about the border right now. Think about all of the places around the world where things can escalate and get out of hand. Nuclear bombs are still dangling over us every day. It's less than 90 seconds to midnight. It's even worse than it was in the Cuban Missile Crisis. So this is why we're here together. This is why we're struggling together, because imperialism will kill us if we fail. And it won't be quick and painless. The coalitions in the 60s and 70s did amazing things, but they fell apart. Even, what's the name of it? It's Students for a Democratic Society, SDS, started off, and it was one of the biggest forces in the New Left at the time that was protesting the war in Vietnam. But because of its own internal problems and because of sniping between different ideologies, it too fell apart and splintered into a million different groups, all of which you wouldn't recognize the name of today. And a lot of the people that were involved in those protests back then got burnt out, got alienated, and even got comfortable with capitalism. You'd be surprised how many of the people that used to be activists during the 60s and 70s quickly became Reaganite conservatives. It can happen. And don't think that Gen Z can't see the same thing happen to them which happened to the boomers. We're not special. We're not special. We're just another generation. We just happen to be born at the beginning of the millennium. But we're not immune to propaganda, and we're not immune to the same mistakes of the past. So it's up to us to rectify this past and to do it right. It can be done. And to conclude, I want to go ahead and shout out and thank a lot of local organizations who have done tremendous work in the last year for Palestine. I want to thank the U of O Students for Justice in Palestine and faculty and staff for Justice in Palestine. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. I want to thank Jewish Voices for Peace of the U of O and Eugene chapters, which formed in the last year and have been doing tremendous anti-Zionist work to show you that Jews can stand against the genocide, that Jews can stand against Israel. I want to thank the Neighborhood Anarchist Collective and the Revolutionary Women's Committee and the Eugene Revolutionary Study Group. I want to thank Planet versus Pentagon and Veterans for Peace. I want to thank Party for Socialism and Liberation. I want to thank Eugene chapter of the Pacific Green Party, especially Justin Filip, for standing up against these two genocide-supporting candidates, Val Hoyle, and I can't even remember what the other one's name is right off. But, yeah. I want to thank Eugene Stringfield, Democratic Socialists of America, and UO, Young Democratic Socialists of America. I want to thank Extinction Rebellion Eugene chapter. I want to thank the UO Graduate Teaching Fellows Federation. I want to thank the UO Radical Organizing and Activist Center. I want to thank Eugene Healthcare Workers for Palestine. I want to thank all of the local affinity groups that have formed just between different friends and comrades to put on different events, different autonomous actions so that they could still see that they were struggling in their own way for Palestine. And I want to thank any organizations I may have missed, because there was a lot of organizations doing work this year, and it took me a while to even think of all of these to write them down. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all of those others in the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition and the people that have constantly put the work into keeping it going, and the coordination committee and all of the other committees and all of the meetings that we've had. I know it's stressful work, and I know some of them aren't here today, and I don't know why. But I want to say, keep going. We can do this. What we have is important. What we have is empowering us all and is giving us the tools to actually build this out into a larger anti-imperialist campaign. We're almost at 1 year of the Springfield Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition. Let me tell you, some coalitions don't make it a month. Some don't make it 3 months. Some don't make it 6 months. A lot don't make it a year. Let's keep it going. Let's make it 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, however many years it takes until liberation, because without it, we're all on our own again. And that is not what I want to go back to. So, as I end this off, and before I hand it to the Ceasefire Choir to close, give me just a second to pull up my phone so I can let you all know about the events that are coming up for Intifada Week. So, give me 1 second, it went away. So at 5:30 today at Riverwood Beach, JVP is having a tashlich, yes, which is, I think it's like a event where it's tossing stones into the river, and those stones represent our transgressions to each other. So like I'm saying, working together and putting our tensions that we've had behind us, or at least understanding how to work together. So I hope that you're able to make it out to that. This Sunday, so tomorrow at 12 p.m. at U of O, there's the People's Orientation at the UO Amphitheater. I hope that you can make it all out to that event as well. On Monday, October 7th, at the actual 1 year anniversary of the brilliant strike into Israel that the Armed Resistance Forces of Palestine did, there will be a march and rally that starts at the Eugene Federal Courthouse at 5:30 p.m. And then, of course, on Wednesday, October 9th, There will be, as there always is, another Planet versus Pentagon vigil for a ceasefire. I think at this point, a vigil for Palestinian liberation in general, not for, you know what I mean. Palestinian liberation isn't dead, it's still alive. Long live Palestine. And then on Thursday, October 10th at 11:30 a.m., there will be a Palestine and boycott, divest, sanction teach-in by the grads at a location to be determined on campus. And please stay tuned with the Eugene Anti-Imperialist Coalition on their Instagram to know when all of these events are gonna be and where they're gonna be at. And lastly, on that same day at 6:30 to 9 p.m., there will be a community organizing 101, again, location to be determined on campus. So I want to thank you all for listening to me. I know I took a lot of time since I was the last speaker to go over the last year of activism in Eugene, but we'll go ahead and go now to Rob.
All right. Thanks. Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Kamryn. Once again from Kamryn. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! All right, with that, we're going to wrap up with one more comment from Sue. She wanted to share something that our first speaker, Dr. Ala Harmid, forgot to share.
So Ala has social worker friends that are in Gaza and the West Bank. And if anyone feels called to give a donation, I can get it to Ala. She had to leave. Or you can come on Wednesday, give some money to help. It'll go straight to Gaza, to people who need help. Thanks so much, everyone, for showing up.
Yeah.
So there was about 100 people here today, and I didn't take their pictures because people don't want to be videoed. But this begins season 2, episode 1 of the ongoing series of real life.